60% of young men are single compared to only 34% of young women. And studies are showing that single straight males are practically lonelier than ever. But how can this be when we are in the most sexually open times in all of history? In the West, promiscuity has gone from being shunned to celebrated. We are seeing sex encouraged in every aspect of culture as these girls are brought up, indoctrinated into this you go girl feminism attitude. It's pretty funny how modern feminism's mantra was, don't view us as objects, and then they literally turn around and portray themselves as sex objects when it benefits them. And it's not like men have just lost interest in women. In fact, men are more addicted to women than ever before, as we see sites like Hub and OnlyFans raking in hundreds of millions of dollars. And yet, regardless of all this, men are lonelier and more single, struggling to attract quality girls and are either forced into or choosing to be celibate. Growing up, I had very mixed feelings towards girls. On one end, I was extremely addicted to pornography, which dramatically shifted my view of women, not only into seeing them as more sex objects, but also putting them on a pedestal as something that's hard to acquire and rare, as well as I had this addiction-based on top of any hormonal changes from puberty. But on the other hand, I had deep social anxiety. I lacked the traits that would make me masculine and attractive to these girls. And to be honest, I resented women just as much as I was obsessed with them. Despite wanting to attract them, I felt anger towards them. Anytime a girl would speak about their celebrity crushes or dating an upperclassman, the unrecognized and unrelenting frustration would result in me saying, oh, they're all which was literally just a cop-out to why I wasn't pulling as a skinny, insecure gamer nerd. I was like that meme of the beta kid that's like, why do women only like stupid jerks who treat them like shit? And it wasn't until years of personal development that I was finally able to see the error in my ways. I now realize it's because those other guys portrayed masculine traits where I was thinking,
oh, if I just act like the girls, they'll like me.
Idiot. And the truth is that this is not in spite of the over-sexualization, social media, demasculinization of males, or hookup culture becoming the norm. It's because of it. We have entered a new age. The nuclear family culture that our great-grandparents grew up in is gone. Let's revisit that statistic I used in the intro. 60% of men under 30 are single compared to only 34% of women under 30. That's our first clue, but on the surface, it kind of just reveals the obvious. Women like to date older men typically. 56% of women say they prefer to date an older male. And I would argue that the other 44%, there are some in there that are just unaware of their subconscious wiring to prefer that. And it's completely understandable. Men in their 30s are typically just more well-developed men. Their finances are typically better. They have much more responsibility, so they're much more mature and masculine compared to younger guys, as well as they have a decade of wisdom and experience on us that we just can't possess yet. But the thing is that it's always been that way, so it doesn't really explain anything. Like I said, social media has allowed people instant communication regardless of location. And while it may seem like a good thing because it gives us guys more girls to talk to, what it's actually doing is exposing women to much more men that are the most financially successful, confident, masculine, attractive guys in the world. Therefore, for the first time in all of history, women now not only have access to the highest value men locally, but worldwide. Couple this with the ability to just easily advertise yourself through saucing up a couple bikini pics on the gram. And what further amplifies this, and we're starting to see a shift in some women from monogamy to hypergamy, meaning not only are these desirable women more and more opting to pursue these high status guys, but we're seeing these high status guys take on multiple women at once. Now, I don't want to give any false expectations. Obviously, monogamy is still the most common and tried and true. However, we are seeing a significant shift, especially with the more attractive women. And because a lot of these girls' egos are so gassed up because of social media and feminism, we're seeing average women not at all willing to settle for an average guy. And this shift is upsetting a lot of men. Even in my own space of like male self-improvement, we're seeing a lot of guys with this red pill rage, where they learn the truth about women's nature and just the reality of the world, and they're like, women aren't Disney princesses that'll just cook my meals and give me head because I exist, and they can manipulate us? I'm angry. Well, it's easy to get lost in this say and just call women online, but then open another tab and jerk off to online with this mindset of, I want a woman that loves me for me and doesn't care if I'm fit, confident, masculine, successful, disciplined, someone that looks past all that. The only thing past all that is you being a bitch. And rational men will realize that a mindset like this will get them nowhere. As well as much as we don't want to admit it, a lot of these current issues are also the fault of men. Let's not forget how many blue-pilled guys were cheering on the feminism movement just because they thought they might get some. Yeah, feminism. Yeah, free the nipples, free the nipples. These new generations of men are weaker than ever, taught that they should behave more feminine by overbearing mothers, their school teachers, and mainstream media. They're addicted to pornography, programming themselves to view women in a certain way and make them obsessed with sex. And at the same time, the pressure on young men to get girls, have sex, get laid is incredibly high, which makes sense. There's such a crisis in masculinity that, of course, one of the masculine traits of acquiring women is so pressured on. This, coupled with their porn-fried brains begging for any kind of sexual stimulant, has resulted in getting girls being the top priority for most kids. So not only are they not getting high-quality girls because they lack certain traits, but they are forgoing gaining those traits to chase those girls, which further expands the gap, and men start to get this scarcity mindset with women and sex, which is more unattractive to women. So why should the top women date these guys when they have the chance to access the best men in the world? And the truth is, they shouldn't. And the sooner you accept this reality, the sooner you can start working on becoming the type of guy that steals the top women from these bums. Prioritizing personal development much higher than getting girls and getting laid for the foreseeable future. But keep in mind, you still have to develop confidence and social skills, so still interact with people, talk to girls. But the reality is that most men that decide to take this path are going to forego casual dating and casual sex for the foreseeable future. And for those who decide to take that route, I want to let you know that you are not weird and you are not wrong for doing that. You are playing the game the way it's meant to be played. You are playing the long game, the delayed gratification. It's all going to come back. And keep in mind, if you don't go this route, if you want to be a bum, you're going to have to settle for the women who, throughout their 20s, were running amok, doing who knows what, trying to bag one of these high-value guys or perceived high-value guys, and now they're settling for you. And you have to deal with all of their past and all of their baggage. However, I also want to clarify that it's not like all girls now are running around being hoes and are just evil and manipulative. That is not the case whatsoever. But the reality is that these beautiful, good girls are in very high demand, especially now with social media where they are able to be found. So the first step has to be physical fitness. And while yes, you do become more visually appealing to girls, it also displays the hundreds of hours you put in the gym and the discipline it took to achieve that. And don't let the modern day fitness industry fool you. You do not need to look like an Olympian bodybuilder or a superhero from a movie, both of which are taking copious amounts of steroids to attract women. There's a certain line you reach where you have the base of looking fit, the confidence from it, and then everything else is built upon that. And next comes finances. Now let me be clear. You do not need to be some kind of crazy billionaire or multi-millionaire, because what matters way more than the exact number in your bank is the lifestyle that you portray. A guy who makes 100K a year but can travel, do as he pleases, portrays a much more attractive lifestyle compared to someone who makes 500K a year, but he works like a dog 80 hours a week and is a slave to his corporate overlords. Now, obviously, I know that gold diggers exist and we don't want to be viewed as just a walking piggy bank to steal from, but keep in mind that the reason this matters to most girls isn't because they want to manipulate you into giving them a Birkin bag, but because they want a capable partner and a good life, not only for themselves, but for their future children. And even if they say they don't want to have kids, there's plenty of subconscious drivers that still make that plenty attractive. And the rest of the equation is practically all the other aspects of self-development and becoming more masculine, which if you're interested in that, my channel's all about it. Consider subscribing. Also, be sure to resist the urge to cash out early. Don't get a little bit of abs and a little bit of money for some bottles and start clubbing 3 times a week in hopes of getting laid. The truly fulfilling life will come from building that equity for years, and then finally you'll get to a point where you just get to collect that sweet, sweet dividends. Guys, the times are changing, and there will be a group of guys who just forfeit, don't want to play the game, don't care, video games, porn, OnlyFans, and there will be the guys who embrace the adversity, who will still build an impressive physique, try to raise their natural testosterone, try to be more masculine, try to be more confident, and those are going to be the winners, not only for getting the best girls or whatever, but for achieving fulfillment, achieving the best life you can. And it means you need to resist the siren calls of today's society, resist the degeneracy, embrace the discipline, embrace the long-term rewards. And if you're wondering what are the 8 main ways to become more masculine, consider clicking this video on the screen right now. But that's all I got for you. I hope you found value in this video. I hope this video explained the current situation we are in. Thank you for watching this far to the end. It helps a lot with the algorithm and whatnot. Bye bye.